When everything seems to be falling apart, when hope fades and the future becomes a shadow, what would you do if suddenly someone from your past reappeared, bringing with them a wave of memories and feelings you thought were buried forever? And what if this old love, which you swore you'd never see again, was the key to rewriting what seemed to be the end of the road? It might sound counterintuitive, but sometimes what you need to find yourself is precisely what you left behind. Could the return of this love be a sign that fate still has something surprising in store for you? In this video, we will explore this unexpected twist that can change everything in a matter of seconds. And if I told you there's a reward waiting for you at the end of this story, would you be willing to give it a chance?
The soft stage lights illuminated Chloe as she danced with the grace of a butterfly, but in her heart, an unbearable weight accompanied her. The ballet performance was a celebration, and the audience enthusiastically applauded, but her mind was far away, lost in memories of Elijah, the man who once made her feel alive. He had been her love, her inspiration, but now all that remained was a deep pain that seemed to invade every movement. Chloe forced a smile, trying to maintain the light expression that the dance demanded, but the echoes of their separation tormented her. After the performance, the music still resonated in her ears as she quickly left the stage, avoiding the greetings and admiring glances. Chloe needed a moment alone, a breath away from the euphoria that surrounded her. Upon finding Sarah, her best friend, the relief was immediate. "You were amazing, Chloe. You should have seen how mesmerized the audience was," exclaimed Sarah, her eyes sparkling. But Chloe just shook her head, frustration mixing with sadness. "Sarah, I can't. He's still here, everywhere I look." "You need to leave that behind," Sarah said, placing a hand on her friend's shoulder. "The dance should be your priority now. Don't let him steal your happiness." Sarah's words were like a balm, but Chloe still felt trapped. What to do when the past insists on haunting her? As she walked through the quiet village streets, the gentle night breeze enveloped her, but her mind was in turmoil. Passing through the central square, something made her stop. A photography exhibition was set up, and upon looking closer, she recognized Elijah's unmistakable style. Her heart raced, and a chill ran through her. "What if I see him here?" she thought nervously. Chloe hesitated at the gallery door, the desire to flee mixed with curiosity. She took a deep breath, remembering how photography had always captured the essence of the dance she loved. But the idea of facing Elijah again made her apprehensive. "It's time to face this," she murmured to herself as she prepared for what could be a devastating reunion. Chloe hesitated at the gallery entrance, her heart pounding as if she were about to dance on stage again. The smell of fresh paint and polished wood surrounded her, but anxiety paralyzed her. With a deep sigh, she decided she needed to face her fears. As she crossed the door, the murmurs of the crowd quieted momentarily, and her eyes met Elijah's, who was only a few steps away, with a camera hanging around his neck and a surprised smile on his lips. "Chloe?" he said, his voice laden with incredulity. The sound of her name came out as a whisper, as if time had stopped between them. Chloe felt a whirlwind of emotions stirring inside her, a mix of nostalgia and pain. "Hi, Elijah," she replied, trying to maintain composure. I came to see your photos." The words came out hurriedly, and her mind struggled to find something more to say. The silence between them stretched, heavy and laden with memories. "I've always admired your dancing," Elijah broke the silence, his eyes shining. "You've always been an inspiration to me, you know?" The sincerity in his voice made Chloe's heart race. "Thank you. And your photos are incredible. You really captured the essence of the village," Chloe responded, admiring the way the light danced in the displayed images. Each photograph seemed to tell a story, and Elijah's presence behind the lens made everything even more special. Despite the palpable tension, there was an undeniable connection between them, an invisible thread that bound them. Chloe felt the need to distance herself, to escape that charged atmosphere. "I have to go," she said, almost without thinking. "It was good to see you, Elijah." "Chloe, wait," he called after her, but she was already moving away, her heart heavy. She felt that something had changed, that there was a possibility of reconnection, but the fear of getting hurt again pushed her away. As she left the gallery, Chloe took a deep breath, trying to process what had just happened. The reunion with Elijah had left her confused, but also lit with a flame of hope she didn't know if she was ready to embrace. Chloe walked through the town, thoughts of Elijah pursuing her with every step. The encounter at the photo exhibition had rekindled feelings she thought she had buried. The memories of shared laughter and dances made her question her decisions and the path she had chosen. Can I really let him go? She thought, as she watched the village's hustle and bustle. The autumn colors of the trees reflected her inner confusion, a desire to start over mixed with the fear of getting hurt again. The next day, while rehearsing in the dance studio, the music playing seemed to echo her uncertainty. "Chloe, you're very distracted today," commented Sarah, her best friend, observing her from the corner. "What's going on?" Chloe sighed, stopping the dance for a moment. "It's Elijah. After that encounter, I can't stop thinking about him. I wonder if it's worth reopening the door I closed so tightly." Sarah watched her closely. "You still love him, don't you? Sometimes doors need to be opened, even if there's fear. Life is too short to live in the past." Chloe shook her head, thoughtful. "And what if I get hurt again? He left me without explanations." Soon after, Elijah got in touch, proposing a photo session. "Chloe, I'd like to capture the dance in a way I've never done before. I want to show the beauty you bring to the stage," he said, his voice full of passion. Chloe hesitated. The invitation fascinated her, but insecurity held her back. "I need to think about it, Elijah." "I understand. Just know that dance has always been a part of me, and you're the best dancer I've ever known," he replied with a sincere look. Chloe felt her heart race. "Okay, I'll think about it." On the day of the session, Chloe arrived at the studio, nervous but determined. A mix of excitement and anxiety enveloped her. When Elijah saw her, a smile lit up his face. "You look stunning today," he said, and Chloe couldn't help but return the smile. "Thanks, you look great too." During the session, they danced and laughed together, recalling moments from the past. But amid the euphoria, a conversation about what happened between them arose. "You know, I never fully understood why you pulled away," Elijah commented, his tone now more serious. "There were secrets I couldn't share." Chloe felt the weight of his words. "I felt betrayed, Elijah. It was hard for me to deal with that." Silence fell, and they exchanged glances, both aware that the past still haunted them. Time seemed to stand still as the unhealed wounds lingered between them, but the connection that lived in their eyes was undeniable. "We need to talk about this, Chloe," Elijah finally said. "I don't want the past to stop us from starting over." Chloe walked along the park trail, the gentle afternoon breeze caressing her face. Sunlight filtered through the leaves of the trees, creating a play of shadows that danced around her. But despite the beauty of the scene, her heart was in conflict. Something had been bothering her since the conversation she had with Elijah during the photo session. A secret that hung between them like a dark cloud, threatening to burst at any moment. "Why didn't you ever tell me?" Chloe murmured to herself, recalling the conversation they had about the past. Elijah had mentioned an old partnership he had with a photographer, but there was something deeper and darker that she felt hadn't been revealed. What could he be hiding? The idea of confronting him made her nervous, but at the same time, determined. She decided she could no longer carry this burden. As night fell, Chloe headed to Elijah's studio, her heart racing with every step. When she arrived, she found him organizing his photos, the soft light of the room creating an almost magical aura around him. "Hi, Elijah," she said, her voice trembling slightly. He turned around, surprised, a smile lighting up his face. "Chloe, what are you doing here?" "We need to talk," she said, determination taking over her voice. "About us and about what you didn't tell me." Elijah's smile faded, giving way to an expression of concern. "Chloe, you know what I'm talking about, that secret you hid. What happened between us that made me pull away?" she interrupted, feeling the frustration rising. He took a deep breath, as if weighing his words. "I didn't want you to carry that burden. I thought that if I didn't say anything, I could protect you." "Protect or just avoid the truth? Because that hurt me. I felt betrayed," Chloe replied, the pain in her voice palpable. Elijah hesitated, his eyes averting. "I didn't know you felt that way. I thought I did the right thing." "It wasn't the right thing," Chloe said, her voice now firm. "I deserve to know. We need to be honest with each other if we want to try again." The two remained silent for a moment, the tension between them almost visible. Finally, Elijah looked into her eyes, his expression serious. Chloe, I never stopped loving you. What happened in the past haunts me, but I want us to have a chance. We can be honest with each other from now on. Chloe felt a warmth spread through her chest. I want that too, Elijah, but we need to deal with what happened before we move on. Then let's do that. Let's face the past together, he said, a new glimmer of hope in his eyes. Chloe smiled, relieved, but at the same time apprehensive. There was a long road ahead, but finally, they were ready to take the next step. Chloe was in her dressing room, surrounded by fogged mirrors and bright lights, trying to control the anxiety that consumed her. Her heart raced as the date of the performance approached. She looked at herself in the mirror, observing her own image, a determined dancer, but at the same time an insecure woman faced with what could be a new beginning. Elijah's words still echoed in her mind, but the image of him talking to an ex-girlfriend, seen by chance in the square, tormented her. When the dressing room door opened, Sarah entered with a radiant smile. "You look amazing, Chloe. I can't wait to see you shine out there." Her friend, always optimistic, didn't seem to notice the shadow of uncertainty hanging over Chloe. "Thanks, Sarah, but what if something goes wrong? What if Elijah isn't really on my side?" Chloe replied, her voice trembling. "Listen, you're one of the best dancers I know. Don't let insecurity stop you from shining. And as for Elijah, if he said he'd be here, then he will be. Trust him," Sarah said, squeezing Chloe's hand encouragingly. Despite the support, Chloe couldn't shake the image of the photographer with his ex. A knot formed in her throat, and the desire to confront Elijah was quickly overshadowed by the pain of jealousy. The performance began, and Chloe danced as if every movement were an attempt to free her soul. But as she spun and leaped, her mind wandered to a conversation she never had with Elijah. After the show, the auditorium was filled with applause, but Chloe felt distant, as if she were watching everything through a foggy window. She found Sarah in the crowd, who pulled her outside. "You were amazing! What happened to you up there? It seemed like you were fighting against something." I don't know. It's just that I saw Elijah with his ex, and I can't help feeling that he's still stuck in that past," Chloe confessed, frustration evident in her voice. "You need to be honest with him. Don't let what you saw prevent you from being happy. Go to him and talk about it," Sarah advised, looking directly into Chloe's eyes, trying to convey the urgency of her words. Chloe took a deep breath, determined not to let the ghosts of the past imprison her. She knew she needed to face her fears and open her heart. "You're right. I can't let this control me. I'm going to talk to Elijah," she said, determination beginning to replace the insecurity that had consumed her. With this decision, Chloe felt a little lighter, as if the weight of her doubts was beginning to dissipate. She was ready to face whatever came, willing to seek the truth that could finally set her free. Chloe walked to Elijah's studio with a racing heart, determined to clear up the things that had been tormenting her. But as she opened the door, she saw Elijah in an intense and animated conversation with his ex-girlfriend, Clara. Elijah's smile faded in an instant, and the pain Chloe felt was like a punch in the stomach. She hesitated, watching them from afar, feeling insecurity and frustration grow within her. "Chloe, wait," Elijah called, but the young woman had already turned her back, her mind a whirlwind of emotions. He followed her, but she pulled away, feeling the tears threatening to escape. "Chloe, please listen to me." In a moment of frustration, Chloe abruptly turned around. "Listen, you were here having fun with her while I'm trying to understand what's happening between us." Her voice trembled, and the pain she had kept hidden for so long finally overflowed. Elijah stared at her, his eyes shining with concern. "Chloe, it's not what it looks like. We were just discussing an old photography project. I never stopped loving you. You know that." Chloe felt a lump in her throat. "How can I believe you? Every time you're around her, I feel like I'm going to lose you again. I promise there's nothing between us. Clara is trying to sabotage everything." He hesitated for a moment, taking a deep breath. "She wants me to give up on my career, on our chance, but I won't let that happen." Chloe's heart began to calm as she heard the sincerity in his voice. "Do you really want this? Us? With all my soul. Let's face this together, Chloe. Don't let fear tear us apart again." At that moment, Sarah, Chloe's best friend, appeared at the studio door, noticing the tension in the air. "Sorry to interrupt, but Clara is trying to gather allies against you two. Believe me, she doesn't want you to be happy." "Then let's expose her," Elijah said, his determination evident. "We need to show the truth." And so, together, Chloe, Elijah, and Sarah formulated a plan to confront Clara. With Sarah's support and the renewed strength in the love they shared, Chloe and Elijah were ready to face whatever came their way. The truth was about to be revealed, and with it, the chance for a new beginning that they both longed for. Now think carefully. How many times have you believed that destiny was sealed, that the cards were dealt, and that there was no turning back? And more importantly, how many times have you allowed yourself to question that certainty? The return of an old love can be disconcerting, but it can also be the spark you needed to reignite a flame that never truly went out. Are we so focused on moving forward that we forget to look back and learn from the past? This reunion may not just be about reviving feelings, but about learning to open up again to the unexpected. So, if this story made you reflect, take the opportunity and click on the video that's appearing on your screen now. In my opinion, this is one of the best stories I've ever told, the most emotional. And if you liked what you heard now, you will undoubtedly love this other story too. So subscribe to the channel, click on the video that's on your screen now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.